What is up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the obviously awesome Dr. Disaster. And you know, I'm one of those guys who doesn't care much for flowery language, where you pull punches and try not to upset people. My communication style is often considered blunt and direct. When somebody does something I don't like, as an example, I'm the sort of guy who prefers to look them in the eye and say,
"Son of a bitch must pay."
You will have noticed that whenever we talk about a game or a movie or something like that that's coming out, which we know is going to struggle because they engaged in culture war BS, I might make fun of them by saying something like,
"Sounds like you have mental problems, man."
Yeah, you got mental problems, man.
Yeah, it really does.
But that is not how these big corporate cockroaches communicate at places like Ubisoft. They like to try to spin things with airy language that makes it sound like bad stuff might actually not be that bad. It might actually be good stuff. Look at Ubisoft here, for example. This company is struggling like hell, trying desperately to stay afloat. They recently announced that their high-profile projects, like Assassin's Creed Hexe, the game where the assassin is a witch, but those games are delayed, though the media tried to spin that like it was a good thing. And now Ubisoft is using positive spin again as they prepare to take a scalpel to the company and remove the bloat. They are communicating this to the public by saying that they're assembling a new transformation committee.
These poor people have been bullshitted by the system into believing that if you change the name of the condition, somehow you'll change the condition.
Yeah, this is toxic positivity in action. This is what it looks like in practice right here. Ubisoft is preparing to fire a bunch of people because their games have been selling like shit. They've assembled a group of people to decide who to fire and who to keep, and they're spinning this now in the media to make it sound like there's exciting plans in the works for the company. And on the one hand, sure, I'll bet you that for the management of Ubisoft, this is exciting. They get to cut a bunch of dead weight. But for everyone else who can see Ubisoft's stock value cratered 20% yet again recently as we watch them ineffectually posture and pretend as though this is all picnics and sunny days over at Ubisoft, we just look at them and say,
"Idiot. He's nowhere to go but back to the noose."
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also, don't forget to follow me over on X, where I keep a list of games lousy with wokeness pinned to the account at all times for your reference. My handle over there is Dr. Disaster 1. Also, I've started uploading some content onto Rumble as well, so make sure that you follow Dr. Disaster on that platform too. But in any case, let's take a look at the situation over at Ubisoft. Now, as I'm sure pretty much everyone knows by now, Ubisoft recently sold 25% of their IPs, which actually have value. In other words, franchises like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry, they sold those to the Chinese company Tencent in exchange for $1 billion bailout that they needed in order to pay their bills and stay afloat. So this is a company that is not financially viable in its current form. Cut through all of the other bullshit being said about Ubisoft. They are simply not making back enough money to survive in their current iteration. This is painfully obvious to anyone paying any amount of attention. Massive changes must be made. They currently have something in the neighborhood of about 18,000 employees that still work for them, even after the thousands of jobs that they have cut in the past couple years. A quick Google search tells me that a starting salary for a new developer in France, which is where they're based, but a starting salary for a new developer there is somewhere around 45,000 euros. If every single one of the employees at Ubisoft made that amount of money, which isn't true, of course, a lot of them will be making a shitload more, but just assume that all of them are only making 45,000 euros, that is still a little over 800 million euros that this company needs to pay out to their employees every year. So this is a company which, when they make a big AAA game like Skull and Bones or Star Wars Outlaws, they require that it sells a shitload. Their current structure simply demands it, but their last few games have had extremely muted responses, and actually, in the context of how much money they spent on them, these have actually been downright flops, putting the company in the position where they need to cut thousands and thousands of jobs in order to survive. But let's see how these people are describing what's happening. As you can see in this headline from Bounding into Comics, Ubisoft announced their transformation committee to help them find a new lease on life. The article says here, amid a falling reputation and stock price, the Ubisoft CEO has reportedly moved to assemble a transformation committee whose main goal it will be to both guide the evolution of the Assassin's Creed studio and help them find a new lease on life. Translation, they're getting ready to eliminate studios and projects, and they need some people to swoop in with a scalpel and figure out who can stay and who needs to get the hell out. But reading on, per an internal Ubisoft email reviewed by a French news reporter whose name I won't even try to pronounce, but according to him, the 10-person committee, as handpicked by the Ubisoft CEO, will spend the next 100 days formulating the best ways to help the studio recover from their recent string of failures and chart a new direction for their future operations. We have just passed a monumental moment in Ubisoft's history which, strengthened by this agreement and the success of Assassin's Creed Shadows, he must mean something different from success than what I mean. In business, a venture where my company made money instead of losing it, that would be successful in my mind, but I digress. He said that Ubisoft will benefit from a new lease on life, as per a machine translation of his company-wide email provided by DeepL. The future ahead demands a new energy and a passion for the games that correspond to the current moment. They're gonna fire people. They are dressing all of this up with positive-sounding, flowery language, but people are about to lose their jobs because of managerial incompetence. That is what is happening. The CEO even brought back his son to the company after activists had him canceled for making a bad guy in one of their games use a salute similar to the closed fist of BLM. You have to imagine that a guy like that is going to enjoy the hell out of pushing other people out of the company. But as further evidence that people are about to get fired, Ubisoft is not engaging with the actual employees when it comes to this news. The article says here, while Ubisoft leadership seems to be gung-ho on this new project, the committee that's going to be getting rid of a whole bunch of employees, those below them have questioned the entire endeavor, with the reporter noting that for employees contacted by BFM Business, the return of the CEO's son is indeed seen as a way to pass the torch to the next generation. Employees also note that, as of now, this internal email has not yet been sent to the studios, likely due to concerns that the news might be poorly received given the current uncertain context. Well, no crap. The news will absolutely be received poorly because the employees aren't so stupid that they don't realize what this means. Anyone with even a cursory understanding of business knows that there will be layoffs. The bloodbath that we have been predicting appears to be on the horizon. The committee is being given 100 days to figure out what they're going to do. That takes us through the summer, so basically, I think we can reasonably expect studio closures and mass layoffs underneath the Ubisoft umbrella sometime in the early fall. But I'm going to leave it there. What do you make of this news? Drop your thoughts into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.